everybody, Dr. Nelson here. This is a video lesson about solving problems with proportional relationships. Professionals use proportional relationships to solve problems every day. Sometimes professionals are presented with a situation and it is unclear whether a proportional relationship is represented. Here are some hints to help you solve problems involving proportional relationships. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you aren't sure where to start, look at the quotients of the corresponding values. Remember, the term quotient is involved with division. If they are not always the same, then the relationship is definitely not a proportional relationship. So, for example, take a look at this table over here. Again, we have x values and y values. And by now you know that to get the constant proportionality, okay, all these values need to be the same. So when we do y divided by x, well, 50 divided by 5 is 10. 70 divided by 7 is 10. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And 40 divided by 4 is 10. So based on these numbers, okay, we can say that the data in this table is proportional. All right, so the problem we're going to look at today involves birds, okay? So when a bird is flying at a constant speed, there is a proportional relationship between the flying time and the distance flown. All right, so again, the relationship is between the flying time and the distance traveled or flown. So, a scientist is trying to determine if the Earth's increased temperature is impacting the flight pattern of birds. For 5 days, she tracked the total amount of miles traveled by a migrating flock of birds. So after day 1, they traveled 40 miles, day 2, 80 miles, and so on. So it says determine if the data collected represents a proportional relationship. All right. So first of all, let's fill in this table. All right. So we know that day number 1, she tracked the birds and they flew 40 total miles. For 2 days, they traveled 80 miles. 3 days, 120 miles. 4 days, 160 miles. And finally, 5 days, 200 miles. All right. Now, the way we tell if this is a proportional relationship is we have to fill in this table with these values, right? So we need to do the y value divided by x, all right? So when I do 40 divided by 1, well, that's 40. For the second day, 80 miles divided by 2, well, that's 40. Third day, 120 divided by 3, that's 40. This next one will be 160 divided by 4, that's 40. And then finally, 200 divided by 5 is 40. So what this means is that the rate that the birds are traveling are the same for all 5 days. All right. So again, because these are all the same, all right, we know that this data is proportional. All right. So the answer is yes, it's proportional. But now we want to write the equation. All right, now remember, the way we can write an equation showing a proportional relationship is y equals k times x, right? And remember, the k value is the constant of proportionality, and that's what the 40 is, right? So our equation is going to be y equals 40x. And there you go.